Okay, we'll complete this part. Uh, Found a fix. So using the content resolver is a content provider. The instance can be taken using get content resolver. Only thing, since I know the path, let me finish this part. You create an input stream from the content resolver. Open stream from URI, the incoming image URI. Using the bitmap factory, helps you to have the particular bitmap resized. This is recommended because your camera application may be having a megapixel camera. Chances are that the incoming image may be too big. Sometime it may shoot up the size of your object requirement in Android. I already told you anything goes beyond 2 MB, Android will have a difficulty to process. When a 2 megapixel camera itself will go beyond the 2 megapixel of size, if some cameras are 8 megapixel or more than that, so image size may be too big, which is taken from a camera object. So using the bitmap factory, I can sample the image, so I can resize it. It is recommended one as far as Android documentation, but it should work without that as well. Sample size saying that 4 times reduce, so whatever size reduce by 4 times, so whatever size until you get the comfortable image quality. Then click the bitmap factory decode stream. This one I select, input stream is there, so I'm not sure. Padding we do not have, and the options whatever we have selected. Now the incoming bitmap is ready. Time to attach to image view. Set image bitmap. It's very annoying. Okay, so I took a picture and attached to a image view. Remember, it is actually saving in your SD card, but since I do not have a file explorer here, I could not show. So let me change the path also, so it works. So let me check what is the path I am saving. Public directory environment. I'm going to call the directory downloads, because as far as Android I see an option to see the download directory. If possible, it may be created here, so let me try that. But most of the phone will have a file explorer. Otherwise you can download an application called file explorer or whatever. You can see the file folder structure. Okay, otherwise there is one more way to find, going to DDMS. File Explorer, there is an option for SD card. Okay, yeah, here if you notice the directory has got created. Inside your image will be there. Previously it was saving in pictures directory. If you notice, the folder has got created here. In fact, it is also should reflect here, but maybe this is a emulator problem which is not refreshing. But if you are testing on the phone, the particular folder also will appear here, and then you can see the created image. So if you notice, this is being created inside the storage SD card. Previously it was pictures folder because I had selected directory pictures. Later I moved to downloads. So if you select the specific directory, so inside the pictures directory it will create a folder called mypicture. Inside that it will create a file, empty file to start with, myimage.jpg. When the camera is ready, it taken the pictures, those bitmap would be transferred to this image and your image is ready. And this is what it is happening here. The content resolver can query the database with the given URI what you send. The URI is nothing but the whole directory with the image file name. So it is querying it and get an instance to, create an input stream instance, input stream in byte format, and create a bitmap, build a bitmap. And if you want to have a sampling, because I set a sampling size 4, so this image size slightly got reduced. If you set to 2, the clarity would be slightly good. Or if you do not set anything, you can set 0, otherwise don't define the option at all. It will be the exact clear image as it comes from the camera. It is recommended to sample it so that your object may not overload it. Remember, it is only for display purpose, but whatever image has been taken, you can force it to have a full size or whatever size without sample. But it is for viewing. I am sampling it and displaying as from the image URI. I'm set to 2 now. So slightly image quality may be looking slightly improved. So you can set a various image quality and you can test it how it works. If you want to have a dynamic, for example, if you notice this particular application overrides the existing image often because the my image JPEG is overridden again and again. And if you notice the file explorer also, only one image is being taken. You want to store all the images taken by this application, means you have an option to do that as well. So this SD card simply rewrites. I'm not capturing in download now. Here you want to have each image is taken by your app should be saved, so you need to have a different naming convention. Maybe you can give a random string, so to find give a random name for your image. So what I can do, various ways to do it. So a random name or number could be generated. Convert into a string. Replace, because the random number will have a dot. don't want to have a dot in between. You can remove them. So, so a kind of random number with dot jpg will come. Okay, so image, let's see what's the name it has saved my image. You notice, see, some sort of random number dot jpeg. So I can take as many as pictures, have everything saved, because every time a picture will have a different name. See, the various files being created. So like that you can capture, save in a local directory. So all your images getting saved here. You can retrieve it using, there is an option to pull it out and keep it in your computer, see it how things working. And this will work much better if you have a webcam attached to your computer, but unfortunately you don't have it. For that emulated, does anyone have a emulator open with the camera option also created for that emulator? Does anyone have? Just open the camera app. For me, if I open the camera app, I'm getting this. Can you tell me when you open the camera app what you're getting? Pardon? Square boxes. It means this is what your camera view. You need to assume it is taking a picture. That's the emulated version. So that's a max you will get for emulated. Those who did not create the emulator with the onboard emulated camera, you will have a force close. So it won't open at all. So mostly for a camera, instead of seeing the picture similar to it, you will have a square box, some sort of black and white pixels rotating, and maybe some square is floating on it. That is a emulated result. So you need to assume it is taking a picture. Just capture and display. That's all maximum you can do. But if you are testing on the phone, no problem. So if you are getting without force close, it means your emulator it can emulate a camera with some sort of surface preview. That's all. So when you write your application, make sure you write in a convention like every image taken by your camera gets saved. So in this case, I followed the random naming convention. Uh, but Android document has even a better option to give a naming. Since in fact I liked it, and that also gives me an option to talk about date time. Uh, the one of a sample given in the Android document uh, gives a name according to the date time. For example, what time you take, automatically the file image name is created according to the date time and with the JPEG added. That sample also I'll write. So if you do not want this one, when you call this line calendar get instance, it means you will have access to the calendar. Calendar mean your current date, time, hour, month, everything. So the device, whatever time is set, the object will be created with the current calendar instance. Means the moment when you execute this line, what was the time of your device, what was the date of your device, what was the date, time, second, millisecond, whatever it may be, it will be reference to it. So I can format it string. So when simple date format, I can give any format. For example, a usual format is year, month, date, hours. Language also very important. Locale mean your device current language. I would prefer to have a English because the format could be based off English. Calendar get time. The calendar get time will give you the complete date time, including date, time, month, time zone, second, everything it will come, and it has to be formatted according to this. So first four digits going to be for year, month, and dd. It's all the format string. You can refer the document how many way you can format a date. It's the document separately is there. I'll show it. So now the name would be converted in this way. In fact, I like that format. Let me see. If you notice 2014, the month 12, date is 02, and I think that second millisecond, that particular time. So it's a hour or something it is rolling on, that may not be important. What we are seeing here is the exact year, month, date. So this gives me a easy way to have a naming convention according, because anyway the second is going to change. So what we have given the naming format. My device is running 1 o'clock, so that's the reason I was wondering why it's showing like that. So the device is having some 1 o'clock 19 minutes, so of course it gave a name accordingly. So 1 o'clock 18 minutes 13 seconds. So if I take another picture, naturally you'll have a different name. So this helps us to have a proper naming convention for the image. So I could, by seeing the image itself, I can know, okay, what time it has got created. So instead of keeping a random number, you can give a date time format. And also it opens one more area which is called calendar object. Calendar gives the local date instance of your device, and that can be formatted in a various readable format. I'll show you the way what all the format options are available. There's a list. Yeah, so you can have these characters accordingly in the formatted screen. If you notice here, I think this is not really proper. I'll show you another table. Be better to see from the official document. Yeah. So this is the combination. So if you see, the capital H is hour in a day, whereas small h hour in AM PM. So if you make the string according to the table given, so in this case I have used YYY lowercase, so this one, and it should be 4 digits, so I display in this way. M I kept in capital, month in a year, and when I force it to 2, it gives me a digit format. And when I have a DD, so D as a date, day in a month, and I want to force it 2 digit because a day maybe I don't want to display 1 as 1, so I want to display 0 1. For that I kept twice, and of course HH 2 digit and capital H. So based on this table you can format according to your requirement. So for your database will have a different data format conditions. Our Indian condition we give DDMMYY, whereas Western or US format is MMDDYY. So according to whatever format you want to format date, you can do it by following this document. This is official document from Oracle, so simple date format. So you can follow this table to format it. And a calendar object gives you a instance of the current time. Current time has everything including the millisecond detail. So at particular point whenever you execute this line, the current date, time, hour, milliseconds, seconds, everything is being referenced, and then I have to format according to what I need. And for example, today's date is December 31st, assume. I want to add 2 days to the December 31st. So what would be the date? Today date is 31st. I want to add 2 days. Then what will be the result date? January 2nd. Today date is February 28th. If I add 2 days, what will be? Pardon? Pardon? So this kind of headaches will come if you manage with dates. So do not assume date is just a number. So I get an instance of a date. Today date I found. I want to add 2 days, means that whatever date plus 2 if you do, you will have a problem. So for example, day of the month. It means when I run this code, the date in this case, uh, as of now it is 2. So the value of this particular date will be 2. Sometime your client will ask, okay, get me the records of next to 2 days. So our people, what they will do, okay, from starting date is date and end date is plus 2, they will do date plus 2. They will arrive this next second date or whatever, using whatever the current date instance. This will produce kind of catastrophic results because date, if you consider it as just a number, you'll have a tough time, because the February, if you had 2 days, naturally depending on the leap year you need to adjust it. Or for a month which is having 31st, will have a different calculation. Months which do not have 31st will have a different calculation. So when you try to play around with the date, make sure you use the calendar object. If you want to add one more date, so Okay, it also gives me another calendar. Okay. You have to use this roundabout way in order to arrive what would be the date of, I mean, after 2 days. For example, today's date is whatever. In that, you are adding 2 days of the particular month. Then you will have a exact the date, including it will automatically calculate whatever leap years or whether it's 31st is there, 30 is there, whatever it is there. Automatically, it will find and give you the right dates. So you can create a date object using calendar instance. From that you can do whatever manipulation, for example add, or you can even go back. So what would be the date before 5 days, something you want to find, that also you can find. Or what would be the dates after 5 years, that also you can find. So manipulating the calendar object would be a best way to identify the date projections. So we are going to use maybe one simple example I'll write afterwards, because I've seen even advanced developers who are struggling to understand how to make the date-based queries. So they have a very hard time to identify. Most of the developers I've seen, they have create their own functions which has various flaws. So remember previously we had a different object called date. Previously we were using this format in order to arrive the date format or get the current date. That will give you a slightly difficult time in order to manipulate the given dates. So for that you may use the calendar object, so that once you get an instance of a calendar, you can add or subtract days, or add a month, or add a day, add an hour, add a millisecond, whatever you can add and get a new date instance. So that is pretty handy if you use the calendar object. Anyway, I'll comment those codes. I'll talk about it in detail maybe a little later. I thought of adding. Let's see, commenting is also not working. I thought of adding a video capture also. Of course, you can do the video capture, but the problem here is I cannot display the preview, because I need a different view. Right now I have a image view alone, because which I am displaying here. But whereas I can record the video, only difference what you need to make here is keep a different request code, because it is going to be for a video. So you can add another button for capture video, whatever. In that intent callback, for example the button click callback, you can say instead of action image capture, you can put action video capture. So that will open the video player, I mean video recorder for you, and that will have a button, you can record it. When everything is done, it will come to on activity result. Make sure you give a different request code, so that it will be executed in different if conditions. There you can make sure save the content. Instead of image URI, you need to keep video URI, but still the same format. The extension is going to be MP4 instead of JPEG. So that example probably I'll write in the afternoon also, because it will slightly need a kind of adjustment in the code. I need to have some if else conditions to route it. After that, One more example also we can see. Instead, where some camera is not present, let the user pick the image from the gallery itself instead of depending on the camera. Some user would not prefer to have a icon taken from the camera. They will prefer to have some local image which is available there. So we'll add one more browse button. So clicking that will call whatever image files are located in your phone. In that he will pick an image and display wherever it is necessary. So we'll extend this code. Maybe afternoon, it won't take much time because I had an issue on the content resolver, that's the reason. But once we are done with the content resolver, the same format is going to be repeated, and only difference is going to be different file naming convention plus one more request code. So that we will add. Time permits, I'll do it in the afternoon. This is part of implicit intent example. I'm calling an implicit intent called camera action image capture, and there are various implicit intents are there. I'll show you the list. You can call a dialer, you can call the setting screen, you can manually force the user to call particular number, because it's all the different applications located in your phone. Using the implicit intent with the proper permission, you can call them. So, and also we saw a small example on the calendar object, and also we saw how to handle SD card. So how to write it on the SD card. So few of the examples are very critical. Make sure you test it, which it doesn't require any internet, so you can test it. If your emulator force closes, make sure you create the emulator with the camera emulation option enabled. Then you are done. Make sure you finish the exercise today itself, because this one of a feature almost all almost I think 6 batch, right? How many batches? So all the 6 batch, almost 5 batch will have the camera option at least required, because most of the application what I am going to give has a personalization screen. So where the user will register, put his icon. So he will take his icon and display his own icon in the application. So this particular code would or should find a place there. So please make sure you finish this part. I load I load the code in the web servers developer site right away.